Thank you all for joining us today in our webinar called Maximizing Your Investment in ApprovalMax. It is really good to have you here for session two. Session one, we focused on the doers within a business, which is your AP, your people on the ground, and also your finance managers as well, including like the bookkeepers and certain services that they can provide. Now we're taking the shift. We're moving a little bit higher up in the food chain within the business. The case study will invite in a minute, where we're talking about the finance leaders, those advisors that are offering AP as a service as well. So you might have accounting firms, virtual CFOs, many different ways to roll and fold it. This is all important information for them. And then we're going to be building it out through the case study, and then also talking about something that's quite special to my heart. We're going to be talking about the auditor, which is always a bit of fun. Now, I did introduce myself last week. My name is Scott Smith. I'm the customer success team lead for APAC. I also come from the last 6.5 years at Xero, and prior to that, I spent 5 years in the audit industry too. And then, funnily enough, my specialty was a not-for-profit, and then I'm not even sure how it happened. I specialized in bowls clubs, hence our case study today. And then we're very lucky to have our guest speaker today, or our customer success person running through the examples today, Zanara. She's been with ApprovalMax for 3 years and is incredibly detail-orientated. So as we go through today's presentation, she'll be running through those demonstrations as well. Awesome. So the agenda today, I'm going to be running through the case study to reintroduce the one from last week. We're going to be running through a quick poll just to get a bit of a sense check on some of the thoughts and feelings and processes from those out in the crowd. We're going to be talking about the finance leader and the virtual CFO and how they can utilize ApprovalMax from a management perspective of the day-to-day and the end of month. And then we're going to be talking about the auditor, what they see, what they look for, and how ApprovalMax can have you audit ready to achieve in those scenarios. So moving forward one. All righty, let's jump into a poll, shall we? I'm just going to get this one up, but I want to ask you all the question, and it can be a pretty fun one. How do you feel when you hear the word audit? Do you feel that you're worried, concerned, stressed? I worry I might actually have something wrong, something the auditor is going to find and then tell me off. Are you feeling a little bit indifferent? It's kind of just a part of the job. It's not too bad. It's not too scary. Are you confident? Are your systems and processes solid, putting your mind at ease? Or are you happy? We love the auditors. I was an auditor. There's nothing like walking into a room, and I'm going to say it, having most of the people in the room hate you just for your job title. No, I digress. That was only ever a case when you get those businesses that weren't really prepared for it, but orders are nothing to be feared of. And I'm really happy to see those results there, that most of the people, I'm going to end the poll now and show you the results, that most of the people that did answer are indifferent. It's just part of the job. It certainly is, especially if you're getting grant funding or you're at the scale that an audit is required. And 31% are also confident in their processes. So I'm also glad to see that there are 13% of those in the attendees that are concerned, because hopefully some of the stuff that we go through today is going to alleviate those concerns that you do have. Awesome. So as I said before, when people were rolling in, if you do have questions throughout the process, chuck a question in the chat box below, and Zanara and I will be able to answer them through typing back to you when the other one's not presenting. And if there's anything complex, we can follow up after the event. So let me reintroduce the case study. So it is a not-for-profit community sports association called Hurston Bowls Club. And I've based this example off of an experience that I've gathered through my times as a bowls club specialist, making it as relevant as it possibly can be to the customer base that we have. Hurston Bowls Club is a local community not-for-profit run by a mix of volunteers and paid employees. So everyone in there is a professional, and some may not be so financially literate, but that's okay. Their heart's in the right place. The club receives significant funding from the local government for ongoing community events and a one-off redevelopment of the event centre. So it's a special project that they have. The club manages 3 departments: bar, bistro, events, and revenues from the bowls club as well. But with that comes a lot of challenges. They often have many manual and inconsistent approval and payment of invoices, inconsistent receipting of goods received, mismatched to purchase orders, a lack of visibility over the spending, often going over budgets and having overruns. The department heads, who although do work in the office, are also out on their feet in the crowd and not always able to track all the expenses by sitting in front of a computer, and that increases the risk of errors, overpayments, and fraud. There's difficulty in handling the multiple departments, especially from the finance manager and the virtual CSO perspective. And there's a risk of spending grant money, which I think is always quite a scary one. I have seen it a few times in my time. Spending grant money for non-intended purposes, which can result in an unforeseen increase in liabilities. Because if you don't spend grant money on what it's allocated for, it will be a liability, which you probably have to pay back. Bit of a scary one, but that's okay. So now we're going to be talking about Mark the Finance Manager, and everything we go through applies to those who are providing a service for their clients as a virtual CFO, or AP as a service, we can also call it. Mark the Finance Manager. So I'm going to be handing over to Zanara to run through the demonstration for this one. So please like to welcome Zanara.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for the introduction, Scott. Let me share the screen. I hope you can see my screen. As was mentioned, I work closely with our customers, mostly one-to-one customized training sessions for finance teams. So I get to hear firsthand what they're dealing with. And today I'd like to talk to you about some of the challenges, real challenges finance teams face, especially someone like Mark, a finance manager at the management company. And let's take a look at what Mark deals with every day. Mark wants to see what's currently waiting for approval and what has already been approved. But it's not always easy. Things get lost in email chains or spreadsheets, and ApprovalMax helps by giving a clear view of every document's status. All in one place, in real time. I'm going to show you, demonstrate our product in a few seconds. Also need to make changes before approving documents. Sometimes Mark needs to adjust account codes, tracking categories before he can approve a bill or any other type of document. And ApprovalMax allows changes to be made before the final approval. Also, Mark needs some good reporting, and Mark's team pays bills on a certain day of the week, and there is a need to approve batch payment requests, which is one more level of approval. Now we'll move to another screen, and let's see what we can do in our product to achieve these goals. Wait a second, please. Okay, now I'm sharing the screen. I hope you can see it. So let's see what we can do in our product to achieve these goals. Here on the left-hand side, we have our main menu, clean, simple, intuitive, and let's say Mark wants to quickly see what's approved. So just click on bills, and you will see status like on review, on approval, approved, paid. You can easily find all the documents you need. Let's click on approve, and we can find all the documents that are approved here. We also have a search bar if he's after something specific, say if he's looking for some specific supplier and date, he can go here. So just click on search button on the top right-hand side. So I will change the organization, this one. We can choose request type. We will need bill, request status, for example, on approval, and you can even choose the specific supplier if you want. And all bills from the specific supplier will be shown here. We have more fields here that you can choose. You can also choose, for example, the date range. If Mark wants a more structured view, he can go to request reports, select the document he wants to generate report for. Let's click on request reports, new report. Let's choose bill, next. Very easy and user-friendly. We have a lot of different filters that will help you to find the documents that you need. And we can click on, for example, status approved or on approval. And we have even more filters. For example, if you would like to find documents that were already paid, you can also find all this information and pull a report here. Next, you can add more columns. For example, if you are trying to find all purchase orders with all purchase orders that are not matched, you can easily also find this information here and add more columns and filters. So let's give it a name. Usually it takes a few seconds to run a report. Now we can see that we see all the bills that are on approval and approved. And so you can easily generate a tailored report. And here you can see who's holding up the approval and even nudge them directly with a reminder. This is a real favorite, especially when you're trying to avoid bottlenecks at month end. So just click on the documents. You can see that we have a column waiting for, and you can easily see who is still approving the document. So we can click on the document and nudge the approver. We have more features that I would like to show you. Here is another common issue that Mark has. Sometimes Mark gets a bill, but the account code is wrong. The tracking category is off, and we have a great feature that helps our clients. I see that a lot of our customers, when we do one-to-one training sessions, I see that a lot of finance teams add themselves to the review step that I'm going to show you right now. The review step works not only for bills, but also for purchase orders. You can add it to any workflow. So this is how it looks. Maybe if you're familiar with the structure of our approval workflow, you know that we have 3 different parts. This is where you create bills. This is our approval map on which document should go to based on specific criteria, for example, based on tracking categories. So this is our approval map, and we have all the approvers here. If we want to review the document before it goes to our approvers, we have a great feature that is called Review Step. Just simply click on this button, add Review Step, enable, and you can add multiple users. So we will add multiple reviewers. It gives our finance manager, Mark, opportunity to check all the documents before they go here. And if you want, you can even specify what exactly you would like to review. Maybe if you don't want to review everything, and for example, your colleagues can review some specific departments, you can also specify this here and add all these details into the review and coding matrix. If you would like to review everything, just keep default settings. Now I'll show you how it looks from the reviewer's perspective. To find documents that are on review, we will go to Bills, on Review, and you will see all the documents that you need to review as a reviewer. This is how it looks. It has the status on review. In the next to the bill actions, you will find this button, Edit. You can make changes to the document. For example, you can add another account code if it's not correct, and resubmit it for approval. And only in this case, the document will be sent further for approval. And you can click submit the document for approval, and it will be sent to the next person. One more interesting feature that I would like to show you, if we're talking about this feature that I showed you, the review step, it it is set up before all approval steps. Even if we add the auto approval step, you can see that first of all, the documents will go to the review step, only then to the auto approval step and our approvers. If you would like to give someone access and rights to make changes while they are approving documents, we have another feature that is called editing on approval. You can click on 3 dots here and just click on editing matrix, choose the person who would like to have these rights. And here you can allow, for example, Benjamin to edit the supplier fields. So if Mark wants his team to be able to edit during approval, not just review, we have the editing matrix, and this is also very helpful. And you can select exactly which fields someone is allowed to edit. So this is a great one, and I think it gives approvers the flexibility to fix errors and without rejecting the documents. And now let's talk about payments. Mark's team does most approvals every day. They process around 70 documents per day, bills, purchase orders, but on Thursday, they process payments in batches. And ApprovalMax supports a dedicated zero-batch payment workflow. You can find it in zero-connected workflows. And Mark's assistant can prepare a payment batch and send it to him or to someone else from their team for final approval. You can add multiple requesters here. They will combine bills that are already approved during, for example, this week or previous week. You can add a lot of bills into one batch payment request. They will be sent to the approver, and only after full approval in ApprovalMax, bulk payment will be pushed to zero upon final approval, where they could be found in account transactions, and then you can proceed further with your payment. Let me show you one of the examples. We have batch payment. So this is how it looks. We have multiple bills, 3 bills in our case, in one batch payment. And you can also open this document in Xero. Of course, if you have access to your Xero account, export batch file and proceed further with your bank. Also, I want to quickly show you that we have a lot of features here in reports, but we are going to talk about this later when we are going to cover the audits part. So there are more things that I'm going to share. Now Scott, you can, the microphone is yours. Stop sharing the screen. So we have Paul, who is the auditor, and today I'm going to demonstrate. I'm very excited actually about this part because we have a lot of features that we are going to show you, and why you should be happy about the audits. It's because we make them actually painless. We have good systems, and that will provide you peace of mind. And we have clear audit trail. You can easily trace transactions from source to approval to payment. All the changes that are that you can find in the document can be found in the audit trail. You have also not only the audit trail, which is the document's history that I'm going to show you a bit later. We also have the audit report that will provide you with the all the approvers list. Also, you will see when.
Awesome. So sorry there, guys. I can take back over.
No worries.
You gotta enjoy a little bit of a coughing fit as you're about to jump on. Alrighty. So I want to, coming from my old background as an auditor, I really wanted to sort of give you guys a bit of detail about what an auditor actually looks for, and then we can jump into which parts of our product are really going to help alleviate those concerns. So an auditor, they really want to look for those clear audit trails. They want to be able to trace those transactions from source all the way to the approval of the payment. They want to know everything that's going on. And they also want to make sure any changes, that's edits, rejections, or approval, are tracked and time-stamped so they can see what's been happening. Segregation of duties is also key when it comes to the auditor. They want to know that different people are responsible for requesting, approving, and paying, depending on the requirements of your business. You could have a much smaller business and it only has one stage of approvals, or I've seen up to 10 stages of approvals for certain expenses as well. I have audited government departments in the past. We all know how government bureaucracy can be. And they also want to know that there is evidence of role-based controls as well. And really cool features in ApprovalMax, which Zanara is going to go through shortly, is our approvals matrix and the historical approval matrices that you can pull out of the system as well. They want to make sure that all of the policies that are in place for the businesses are compliant. So typically with charities, you'll have the AGM, you'll have the board decisions, you'll have the segregation of duties and the expense limits for each person. You can then compare that to what's in ApprovalMax. And then because we're so tried and trusted, we have all the different reports available for auditors to use. They are satisfied with the internal controls of our systems. So all they need to do is align it to our system with the way that it's set up. And then they can have faith that our system has the internal controls that they can rely on as they go through that audit process. Moving to the next page. And when I was an auditor, the main thing that we do look for when it comes for expenses is that there is supporting documentation. You want to make sure there are invoices, there are receipts, there are contractors or quotes attached to transactions. So in ApprovalMax, you can easily jump in with the auditor user role, which is a read-only user role, so they can't change anything. They can jump into previous invoices, they can pull up the PDF of the invoice, they can see the approval steps, and they can bring up that audit trail as well. They can see any commentary that's been posted, or if there's even been a substitute, so someone's gone on holidays and someone's been put in a higher acting capacity for some time. Really tight internal controls. And as I said before, the system integrity is paramount within ApprovalMax. You want to know those controls are in place to prevent backdating and unauthorized transactions, and also one of the biggest risks, which is fraud control. So what can auditors do and really look out for in ApprovalMax? Like what can auditors do in ApprovalMax? So they can view the audit reports in the audit trail, they can view the delegation of authority, they can view active workflows for bills, purchase orders, and other requests, as well as previous versions. Fraud detection is a really cool one. Export active workflows to PDF files and build out audit-specific reports as well. I know that when I was an auditor and I had seen some negative effects take place in a couple of businesses there, where unfortunately fraud had taken place. And the most common area of fraud that I do see within organizations is someone simply changing the bank details for a supplier or creating a fictitious supplier. So if you change bank details in ApprovalMax, it has to go through that approval process. And if you want to create a new supplier, you can utilize our new contact workflow to make sure that every supplier has been approved in the way that it should. Very good features. So now I'm going to hand it back over to Zanara to run you through a demonstration of those aspects of our system.
Thank you, Scott. I'm sharing the screen again. Hope you can see it. And again, I'm excited to show you how we can help with audits because I really think that we make them painless. And the first thing you would do, so we would go to to our main menu, workflows and settings, users, and we will add our auditor Mark as a user here, and we will assign the role. So let's imagine that we have the following email. And please don't forget to change the role to auditor. I will explain why. As you can see, we have different roles. We have auditor, user, administrator, workflow manager, and the account owner. And auditor is the role that your auditor, in our case, Paul, will need. It will give him full visibility. He can see everything that administrators and the account owner can see, all the sections of ApprovalMax, including the list of documents, but not only They can also run reports, but they cannot make any changes. So auditors can have view read mode only. And view documents without any changes. They can go to request reports and also run any report. And also on top of that, they can leave comments and ask something if they have any additional questions. We provided our auditors with everything they might need, and I would like to start with the audit report. Every document approved in ApprovalMax gets an audit report. Let me show you. We will open one of the approved documents. Here we go. Let me zoom in. I hope you can see it well. So yeah, this is how the audit report looks, and it shows who approved the document, their role within the organization, the date and time. So reason for being approver, the role, I mean the reviewer or the approver in our case. We can see the email address, reason for being approver or reviewer, step when they approve the document, and the decision reviewed or approved, or maybe if they are administrators, they can force the approval. And this is also something that we add to the audit report. Moreover, you can see even date and time. Also, you can find the audit report not only in ApprovalMax, you can find the audit report in the related files in Xero. If you have, of course, access to Xero, please go to the related files and you can find the audit reports there in the related files section. And it looks absolutely the same way. It's the same document. Now let's go back to ApprovalMax. There's something else that I would like to show you. It's our audit trail. We offer the audit trail to our customers, which shows every action taken on the document. Edits, comments, matches, unmatches. Maybe if you're working with the bill-to-peer matching feature, or maybe if you're working with the goods received notes feature, everything will be visible in the audit trail. Just open the document, scroll down the page, click on show all events, and you will see by whom exactly the document was submitted. You will see when I reviewed the document, if there are any comments, for example, like this one, paid, and I tagged our finance manager. You will see all the comments here. You can even attach documents here, and you can tag your colleagues, and they will receive a notification if they enabled, let me quickly show you, if they enabled comments notifications. By the way, this is something that not every customer knows. I noticed when I had training sessions with our customers, I noticed that some of them didn't receive notifications. So this is something for you to check if you just start using ApprovalMax, because we have different types of notifications. Now let's talk about the next feature that can really help. It is workflow version history. We will go to the approval workflows again. You can find it in the same section, workflow settings, approval workflows. We will open a bill workflow. First of all, I would like to mention again that in ApprovalMax, it's very easy to set up delegations. It's very easy to set up an approval workflow that will meet your company's needs. You can set it up based on multiple criteria, supplier, tracking categories, account codes, and this will be visible to your auditor, to our auditor Paul. He can just open any workflow, bill workflow, purchase order workflow, and click on this button, PDF, and the current version of our workflow will be visible here. We can go and check all the details and compare it to the document that was approved. Moreover, we have a work version history feature that I mentioned a few minutes ago. And this is where you can check by whom exactly it was changed. It can be really helpful if you have multiple administrators, and maybe if you're afraid to hit this button, update the workflow. I remember I had a customer who had approval conditions based on account codes, and they had a lot of account codes for each approver, and they really liked this feature because it allowed them to not to be afraid to hit this update the workflow button, because it gives us the opportunity to go back to the previous version and compare what was there. We cannot restore the version, so we can't just click on this version and reverse it, but we can easily compare this one with the active version. On top of that, it will be visible by whom exactly and when exactly it was changed. As you can see, the current version is changed by me, but the previous version is changed by our finance manager. So Paul can easily go to the workflow version history and find all the changes that were made here. You can find different versions not only for the workflow. We have a great feature that will help you to see different versions of the document. Let me close this workflow, and we will find the a document version history. Let's go here. Open any document, find the following button here. It is called version history again, and you will see multiple versions if there are any other versions. So in this case, in my case, we have just one version, but if there were made any changes to this specific document, you will see multiple versions here. Yeah, and you will see all the details as well as the audit trail in each document. It will be also visible here if there were made changes, made by someone from your team. The next feature I would like to show you, this is a great one, and this is definitely my favorite. And Paul might find it really helpful too. It is called fraud detection. And let's say you've been using ApprovalMax since January, but your company existed before that, so you can pull in older documents. And let me show you. So you will need to go to workflow again. In our case, just a bill workflow, but you can do it for purchase orders as well. Click on the following button, and on the left side, you will find fraud detection. As you can see, I've already enabled the following features. The first one is called bypassing the approval workflow. As I said, you can pull documents, for example, starting from the beginning of the year, even if you started using ApprovalMax just a month ago, all documents that were already approved in Xero will be sent to ApprovalMax. They won't be sent for approval because they're already approved in Xero, but you can use them for the reporting also. We have one more button here. You can check the box and notify your administrators about documents that bypass the approval workflow. How does it work? So let's say you have multiple users who have access to your Xero account, but you have the new policy that all documents must be approved in ApprovalMax directly, because we provide so many things, right? So the audit report, the audit trail, you can find everything that you need. If you approve the document outside of ApprovalMax, we will notify your administrators and the account owner if you want. And also we will show you this. So I will go to approved, and we will show you that those documents are approved outside of ApprovalMax. As you can see, both documents are approved, but there is a difference. This document is marked green with the status approved, and this document is marked orange or yellow. And it says, please note that this request has been approved directly in Xero without going through the ApprovalMax workflow. I think this is really helpful if you would like to have everything approved directly in ApprovalMax. Let's go back again. We have one more interesting feature in that fraud detection section, and it is called fraud detection, changes made after approval. Let's imagine you approved documents. You have multiple approvers, different levels, layers in your bill approval workflow. Everyone approved the document, but someone decides to make changes in Xero. If you would like to be notified about those changes, I think it's really helpful. You can check all the boxes here, and you will be your administrators and the account owner will be notified about those changes. Of course, we cannot prevent you from making those changes because sometimes we really need to make changes, but I think it's one more layer for just to prevent fraud. Okay, if you have any questions about the audit trail, audit report, please let us know in the Q&A section, and we'll be happy to help you. I think this is all from my side. Scott, are you here?
Yeah,
Handing over to you.
I certainly am. Thank you very much,
Good.
Zanara. All righty. So cool. Thank you everybody for coming along today as we earn towards the end of our presentation. We did originally have a guest speaker, but I'm so unfortunately going to apologize they weren't able to make it today. They have pneumonia, which I think is, a bit of a poor excuse sometimes. No, it's okay. It was actually my brother who owns an audit firm, but we'll get him next time. And he's a bit unwell. So we went through a lot of information today, and not everything we went through is available in every subscription. So I do encourage you to go to ApprovalMax pricing 0, search for that in Google, and that will come up with the different subscriptions that we have and what features are available where. If you do have any questions about what we've gone through today, please do reach out to your customer success manager or raise a case for support and ask questions there as well, and we'll be able to get in touch and run through anything that you might need to know. We will be sending out a follow-up email as well with a recording of today and last week's session with some follow-up resources. But I really do encourage you to review your current setup. Go through everything that you have to make sure that you're maximizing your investment and everything that you're currently paying for with ApprovalMax. And then give it a try. We do have an all features trial. We also do have the ability to start up an ApprovalMax trial and connect it to your Xero demo organization as an option there as well. So you can have a bit of a play in some of these features in a no-risk environment. I'd like to thank you all for coming across today. Please do add any questions into the chat box below, and we can answer those within the next 10 minutes we'll hang around for. Thank you very much.